Hello. So, time to see this, it will be Thursday morning. So, good morning if you're watching this. I hope that you've had a good week so far. So, in this video, I am talking about when it comes to work, do first impressions matter? And my answer to that is yes. If you go into a job interview, and I can guarantee this to you, without looking smart, you're stinking from booze the night before, you smell, you've got too much aftershave on, or you're not looking professional, they will send you packing. Now I've never had that problem, but I've seen it. First impressions matter because an employer will know within 2 seconds if you are fit for the job or not, and they will, because they will go on how you've dressed, how you have greeted them, how they greeted you, and they do, because no employer wants a interview to go on for too long. Now, some jobs, depending on what they are, sometimes they will test you on certain tasks. When I was first looking for like office type work, I would often have to do like a typing test. Now, before I got the job at Sitel, I had to do like they asked me how to wire up a video recorder. So you may have to do that sort of thing, but they will know within 2 seconds if you're right for the job or not. And I knew with Sitel that as soon as I saw that job advertised, I knew I would get that job. And I don't know how I knew, but I knew. And it was done by agency. I was living in the South Coast at that time, so I'd work during the week and go back down to the South Coast at the weekends. And instantly, the relationship between me and the pro had formed, and it was like, yes. I mean, I still wanted to do what I did at Butlins, which was, be in like a guest environment, but I thought that my days of dancing on the stage and entertaining guests on holiday, or entertaining an audience as such, were over, in fact, by then. So I kind of accepted how my life was going, but I always knew that was something that I hoped to still enter into at some point. But at that time, I thought that ideal career that I wanted was done, and so I accepted it. I needed the job at Sitel because I wanted to be, bringing in money, and so sometimes convenience can weigh over a career. And then because I got really into the job, I then thought, well, do I want to do this as a career? And that part of me did think about it, but then as I went through it and I started doing certain qualifications in football coaching, and I thought my life was going in that direction. But that got changed because I fell pregnant. I had to stop coaching because of that, and so I thought that had gone as well. That time of football coaching had gone, and I'm not. If I do ever go back into that, it'll be a long time because I'm not really in the mindset of working in that industry. So now I've been doing blog writing, and this has taken me a long time to get where I am now, over about 10 years. So you can't take it for granted. Blog writing was new to me. I didn't really know what it was, but I thought I'd try it out, see how it went, and now here I am 10 years later, over 10 years later. And now I am going to have those opportunities again to be on stage and work in the industries that I've originally loved, which is music, comedy, and so I'm writing books again, or writing stories again. It's been, a massive road. I've kind of like gone full circle, really. it feels like, but I got here, you know. But first impressions do count, and I knew at sight tell that I'd instantly get that job, and I knew from the moment I stepped into the interview, and they already knew that they would give me a call back. I had to do a face-to-face interview, and then I had to do a telephone interview. But I got the job, and it was instant, really. It was within 2 days, and I got it. So, and same with Merlin. As soon as I saw that opportunity, I was like, I need to go for that, and I did. And again, I got it. I was invited to like a induction day, and then yes, I got that job. And I knew again, as soon as I saw the job, that would be my job. So first impressions account to you as well, and what you need to think about when you go into a job. Do you picture yourself doing that job? How are the rest of the staff? And you can normally tell by body language. You can often tell by the questions they ask if it's a job for you. But sometimes you just know. It's like an instant, like, yes, that's my job, and you may have to go through 5 or 6 interviews to find it. But first impressions do count, because there are jobs that I really wanted to do, but I balls them up, like making out that I checked the website and they didn't. Big mistake. So one thing I would say is always be smart. Do wear, if it's an office type job, you want to look professional. So if you're a man, do wear a tie. If you're a woman, you can wear a shirt without a tie, of course, but make sure it's ironed. Make sure there's no dirty marks on there. Make sure that your tights don't have any ladders. Make sure that you wash your hands. If they ask you to wear a mask, then you wear one. And as well as them looking at you, as soon as you go in that interview, within 2 seconds of going to the interview, you know also if that's a job for you. So first impressions go hand in hand. But if it's a job where, like when I worked for an advertising agency, it didn't matter. You could go in there wearing jeans, tracksuits, it didn't matter. And actually, in fact, it was a lot more of a relaxed environment. So it depends on the company. Some companies don't have a work uniform. You can go in as you like, but some companies don't. So you have, but before you find out whether that you're allowed to jeans and t-shirt, don't go in with jeans and t-shirt. Don't assume. Go to the interview smart, and then if you see that people wearing jeans and trainers and stuff, then and they say what you need. Most companies now will do like 2 interviews, so you have like the first interview, which is just like a feel of the place. The second interview is make or break, so the one that decides if you're definitely right for the job. And what they will do, if say there's 100 applicants that go for the job, they will probably narrow it down to say 20, and they'll interview those 20 people, and then they will narrow it down again for the second interview, and then they'll narrow it down to, if it's only 2 positions available, they will decide on that second interview who they want within those roles. And again, that is decided within 2 seconds. So first impressions count. The first interview, always be smart. Make sure your hair's washed. Make sure you don't have to overdo it with makeup. To be fair, you just want to look smart and that you really want that job. And sometimes, even if it's not the job for you, still try and see if you get the position, because even it's good to have practice interviews as well as the one you actually want to go for, and you're not messing them about. It's just to see. Sometimes you could be surprised. And also, don't be late. I know you can't help it with the trains and stuff like that, but if you plan ahead, you'll always be on time. So I mean, I hate being late, especially for jobs. So I'm always conscious of the time. And also being somebody who should train people, not to interview. If they keep turning up late, then it means that they don't actually care. That's what it comes across as. You do get people who are just always late, but they love the job they do. So it all depends on the employer. But if you're late and you don't have it, and it's like, 50 times in like a course of like 50 days, then that is, something's not right, and employers can sack you for that because they want people to turn up on time. Because working in a call centre, for example, if say that there's only 2 of us in the morning, and there's supposed to be about 5 because the amount of calls that are coming, then you end up doing double the work because of those being late or those that haven't turned up. So always be conscious of that. I know you can't help being ill with COVID, with working at home. But if you are going back in the office or you are starting a new job, don't be conscious of the other people that you're working with, because it's not fair that they're getting paid the same as you, that they come in on time, yet they still live a fair distance. And half the time, I've seen it where people they've only lived down a corner, So something's not right. And I know people that I've had friends who are just always, late. And that doesn't matter if you just meet a friend, but when you're use a job, I do believe that you should turn up on time, because it's just out of respect, So first impressions definitely do count. They will look at, your body language, if you're enthusiastic, if you've just come out of bed straight into an interview, they will know straight away. And they can sense it. And they will often say, "No, sorry, but if you're late, because sometimes some employers can be very strict about timekeeping. So sometimes they may, if it's only like 2-3 minutes, then not so bad. But if it's like an hour, then it's like, no, sorry, but I'm sending you away. Especially if you come in with a creased shirt and a creased pair of trousers, and you got like, food stains down your top. It's not gonna be a good impression. So I know you can't help someone spilling coffee on you, but you could also say, "Oh, sorry about my shirt. I was smart, but I've spilt my coffee." And then it doesn't matter. But if you just gone in there with a dirty shirt, not even thinking about it, then they will see it as, well, that person's not cared at all. No, we don't want them for the job. So, first impressions do definitely count. And don't swear on the first day. Big mistake. And also, I read that there was I remember listening to Cut to FM with Chris Tarrant, and he was talking about, they were doing a morning talking about like the silly things that people had done in interviews, and someone thought they were going out the door, and actually when out the door they'd gone into the stock cupboard, which was hilarious, because that's something that I would do. But I remember and sometimes, I went to one employer in Holborn. Now, I did balls up the second interview because I said that I checked the website out, and it was obvious that I hadn't. And the first interview was fine because the woman who was taking interviews got the ump over people turning up too early. I was like, why would you turn up too early? And it's because sometimes if you turn up a little bit earlier, you can get seen straight away, especially if someone else hasn't turned up. And then the second interview, I did the same, and she really got the ump over it. So from that impression, I was like, well, I don't really want to work there anyway. But I still went to the second interview, but I lied about not looking at the website, and it was obvious that I hadn't. So no, don't do that one. So yeah. So yes, first impressions do count. and you just always the first interview. If it's second interview and you just ask them, I've seen that people are in like casual clothes. If I do get a second interview, can I come in casual clothes, or do you want me in smart clothes? But normally they will say, come a second interview, and if they don't mention it, then you ask it. If they do mention it, then you don't. But do ask that if they will. We will be giving second interviews. You can say, okay, well, seeing how the staff are dressed, how what kind of uniform do I need for the second interview? And if they say, don't worry about it, just come in your jeans and t-shirt, then fine. But with the first interview, do make the effort for just in case. But also, it all depends what the job is. I mean, at holiday camp, they do telephone interviews. They don't do, unless it's the entertainment side, they will often hold auditions, that they do for Haven. And I dressed smart there, but I didn't get the job, and I don't think I dressed for the job correctly. So do check that if they contact you about getting an interview, ask them, what is the work uniform, to find out, So I hope that you have a good rest of the week. Tomorrow is Friday by the time you see this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.